You might remember that for the second half of last year, 2024, I had a goal of only purchasing 3 brand new items for the entire 6 months. It was kind of like a little teaser cheat mode version of this whole thing of 5 items in a year being like a commitment a lot of us should be making. I am here to fill you in on just how that went for me. We're going to take a look at the new items that I purchased, find out if I did it, if I stayed within my 3 new item limit. We're also going to take a good look at my best thrift finds of 2024, because I swear last year is going to go down in history as my best thrifting year to date. We're also going to have a little bit of a reflection moment on the year as a whole as it pertains to style and my wardrobe. And in this video, we are also going to have a bit of a chat about my goals for 2025. So let's start first with my 3 item limit for the second half of 2024. I spoke about why I wanted to do that challenge and the inspiration for it in this video. A link will be in the cards for you. And in that video, I did talk about how even though I've always been a thrifter kind of person, I've also just been a big fan of shopping. I love clothes. And in the last, I'd say 8 to 5 years, I've definitely lent more and more into small, independent, sustainable kind of businesses. But in the last few years, I've still bought a lot of new clothes. And this article, along with a lot of other things, including watching creators like Lena Norms, I just felt ready to kind of start to make a new shift, you know? But I was also a little bit terrified of a year-long commitment. So I decided to half-ass it, as Lena would say, and to commit to just a 6-month challenge, which felt just that little bit more manageable to get me to commit, to get me to try it out. And I have to say that even though I did find this challenge challenging at times, I am so glad that I did it. And I did indeed only purchase 3 brand new items, 2 of which were kind of like a last minute panic purchase. Let me take you back to August, a month into my challenge. I hadn't bought any new items yet. We were up in Queensland for my best friend's wedding. And it turned out that essentially there was a last minute event for this wedding that I had not packed for. And I did spend the better part of 2 entire days of our holiday thrifting, desperately trying to find something secondhand that would be wedding appropriate and also fit me, a plus size person, and something that I liked and that I would feel good in. Alas, it was not to be. I had no luck. And so I placed a last minute panic purchase with express shipping from my favorite Melbourne store, Variety Hour. So I purchased this lovely blue sparkly top, super pretty. I loved it, along with this skirt, and I wore them together to my friend's wedding, and I mean, look how cute I looked. So yes, it was only August and I was already 2 out of my 3 items down, and they weren't considered purchases in the way that I had kind of envisioned myself making when I first started this challenge. It was a panic purchase. Absolutely, it was a last minute panic purchase, but it kind of felt like one that I needed to make. And I'm not mad that I did. So with that out of the way, I only had 1 item left that I could purchase for the rest of the year. And it wasn't until November that I finally committed to something, which was these shoes from my favorite shoe brand, Rolly. Again, a local Melbourne business who just make really good quality shoes that I find really comfortable. And I'd been thinking about these shoes for a while. I love how chunky the sole is. I really like the orange trim. I think that's a fun little detail. And I'd been thinking about these shoes for a while for a few reasons. One, I just liked them, but 2, I'd been struggling with loafers. I had purchased myself some black loafers like a year or so ago, but I don't know what to tell you. I just don't like loafers. I don't find them comfortable. I think because I like to have shoes that are at least a size or 2 too big for me. And so when I saw these shoes, I just knew that they were going to fill that spot in my wardrobe that loafers had failed to satisfy. I'm really happy with this pair. I feel like they're a pair that not necessarily like an everyday wear for me, but the kind of shoe that I think I'll have for many years and I will love wearing. And also a good lesson. Loafers aren't for me. I'm never buying loafers again. Don't let me. So those are the items that I purchased and kind of the reasoning behind them. I will say that I'm almost embarrassed at how difficult I found this challenge, especially in the first 3 or 4 months. I kept finding myself, multiple times, I found myself on websites and just browsing, and especially when there were sales happening. And while I was doing it, I would literally have the thought, what the fuck are you doing? You can't make these purchases. And somewhere in my brain, I would respond, If it's on sale, it doesn't really count though, right? I really need this item though, so does it really count? It's so cheap, it's basically thrifting, so it doesn't really count. What the fuck? What the actual fuck? And I think I hit rock bottom. Honestly, I'm a little embarrassed to even admit this. When a brand that I really love their items of clothing, but who morally I do not ever want to support, I do not want my money going to them because they're Zionists and also invested in live export trades, two icky things, they were having a very, very big sale. I was on that website. I was adding things to cart and convincing myself it didn't really count because these items were so cheap that they probably wouldn't even be making money from me, so it doesn't count. I literally got so far as like adding 3 or 4 items to my cart, deciding which items I was going to purchase, and then going into the checkout portion. It was like asking me for my details, you know? I was at that point. And I was just like, what the fuck? What am I doing? One, this challenge, this 3 items only challenge means a lot to me. But the fact that it's also a brand that I do not want to purchase from, like I have never purchased from them actively, like that was a decision I made years ago. And I'm sitting here going back on it for what? Some cheap pants? Girl, what is the point of having values? You know what I mean? Anyway, like I said, a low point for me. I do think though it was very instructive in terms of like the way that I think about online shopping. Like the FOMO was there, the excitement for some cheap items, the thrifty mentality that I have of always like wanting to get a bargain and feeling like I got a good deal and that somehow that makes my purchase less consumerist or better. And also the way that I was convincing myself that my values and my commitment to this challenge somehow could be superseded by a good deal. I am happy to report that I did see sense before it was too late. I kind of like threw my phone away from me for a second and just had to take a deep breath and like sit with myself for a moment and be like, I don't want this to be who I am. I don't want to be someone who feels like they need to make these purchases just because they're on sale. I don't want to be somebody who spends hours mindlessly browsing just to see if I can get a bargain. And I don't want to be someone anymore who purchases too many new items, which is negatively affecting the environment and so many people around the world. And I certainly don't want to be someone who's shopping from fucking Zionists. What? So a big wake up call for me, that moment. Absolutely. After that moment, I decided that I was going to take charge and I unsubscribed from most of like the fashion, clothing brand sort of things that I follow. I downloaded an app that could block certain websites from my phone and I put like screen time limits on Instagram and other things where I just kind of scroll. And even without all of that, I think that moment I was just so disgusted with myself that in itself was a big wake up call, you know? I'm not saying that I was like addicted to shopping, but I think I definitely was scrolling and performing shopping behaviors, whether I checked out or not, as a form of like light entertainment, as something to distract me. And I don't think that is what shopping is supposed to be for. So basically this 3 new item challenge has been kind of profound. I'm not going to lie. It was difficult for me, but I'm glad I did just the 6-month kind of taster because it still felt manageable. It still felt difficult, but something I could do if I tried. And I'm so glad I did because now that I've done it, I've literally done it. I feel so good. I feel so proud of myself, but it's also evidence for like my brain in here, my little monkey brain, that I can do this, you know? I'm not a slave to the algorithm. I don't have to buy something to make myself feel good. And I certainly don't need to be spending my time or my money buying new shit online. And so for 2025, I feel apprehensively ready to commit to a year-long challenge of just 5 new items purchased in the entirety of the year, just as the original article kind of proposed. Now, as I mentioned in my original video, one of the reasons I have been apprehensive or hesitant to do a challenge like this before is because like you never know what's going to happen. You never know what you're going to need. You know, I think everybody feels like that, right? But I think especially as somebody whose body has changed a lot back and forth over the years, and also being somebody who like whose clothes does play a big role in how I feel about myself. I think one of the reasons I was scared to commit to a whole year is I was scared that my body would change drastically, that I wouldn't feel good in my wardrobe anymore, and that essentially I would have to choose between breaking my commitment to my challenge, which is tied up with my values and all of that stuff, or spending the year feeling terrible in my body and my clothes. And while I do plan to be strict with myself, I think, you know, if there are extenuating circumstances, truly, I will deal with that when the time comes. But one other thing that I have learnt from the last 6 months is how good online thrifting has gotten. Oh my God. I downloaded Depop for the first time in like June, May, sometime around there. And yeah, I did go a little ham, I'm not gonna lie. And look, I know there's a whole conversation around consumerism as a whole and how thrifting can play into that. I just want to take it one step at a time though, and the reality is we have so many items of clothing already in circulation. And while I do think I went a little bit too wild, even for me, in the last 6 months of the year, again, I'm not mad that I went on that journey, because I found so many great items of clothing in my size, secondhand, that not only did I have a lot of fun and find some really cool things at good prices, I also now have so much more confidence that I can find most things I need secondhand. And that makes me feel so much more confident going into a year-long challenge. And speaking of thrifting, let's now chat about how good the thrifting was in 2024. So yes, I did do plenty of like actual thrifting in op shops like Savers. Savers is my main local one. Where I did most of my secondhand shopping though this year, and particularly in the second half, was definitely Depop. I also found that Facebook Marketplace is incredible for secondhand finds, particularly if you're interested in like certain brands. Obviously, Facebook Marketplace and even Depop are not as cheap as just going to Savers. But obviously there's a massive convenience factor there where you can literally search for the things that you want and in your size, which as a plus size girly is revolutionary. Because even though I have been able to find some pretty great stuff at the op shops and in particular Savers over the years, I have never had such access to such great things that I wanted to wear that would fit me as I have since I've been looking on Depop and Facebook Marketplace. And I had so many incredible new secondhand items this year that I couldn't narrow it down to just a top 10. So instead what I've done is make a bunch of outfits that I wanted to show you that are entirely made up of secondhand items that I bought in 2024. So let's take a look at those. Roll the tape. This might be one of my favorites. This is literally an outfit, head to toe, as is, that I have worn many times. And every single item is secondhand. We love that. Should we start with the shoes and work our way up? These are some Nike Air Force Ones that I got on Depop. And honestly, I really didn't need some new shoes, but this colorway, I love them. These incredible elastic waist pants I purchased on Depop. I like that they're kind of like cargo pants crossed with pajama pants. They're so comfy. They're one of my favorite pants that I own at the moment, which is saying something because I love pants. Then this big balloon sleeve jumper was one of my most worn jumpers this winter. Then we got this, another kind of unnecessary purchase, but again, not one I'm mad about, a Coach bag in bright orange. It was just one of those items that I saw like kept getting discounted. I think it's because of the color. No one was interested. Then I came along and decided an orange lovely bag was exactly what I needed. So that's an outfit made up of 4 of my favorite secondhand purchases this year. Let's take a look at some more. We're keeping it nice and simple today because it is hot as fuck. Again, starting from the bottom, I got these sandals. I had been wanting some white fisherman sandals for ages, so I was thrilled. I was so thrilled that I was able to find a pair in my size secondhand. They had a couple of bumps and scuffs, but for the most part, they're pretty well in new condition, and I've been wearing them heaps. Then we have these incredible elk linen pants, which I know you all love. I do too. I got these from Facebook Marketplace, and I liked them so much that I have since also found a pair of the same pants in indigo secondhand too. They're just so comfortable. I think they might be one of my favorite secondhand purchases of the year, not gonna lie. Then we've got a nice simple pink t-shirt that I think fits me really well that I got from Savers. Bargain. And then we have this little blue bag. Now, this kind of like mini crossbody bag from Radical Yes is a bag that I have fallen in love with. I think basically I found my perfect crossbody bag this year when my best friend Annie bought me this in green for my birthday. And I just loved it so much that when I see them pop up on Depop or Facebook Marketplace in a color that I like, it's very tempting. What can I say? And I have picked up a couple this year. So there you have it, another 4 incredible secondhand items. Let's take a look at some more. Honey, what you doing? We're all blue today. We're wearing the same sandals. I really have been getting so much wear out of these sandals. Then we'll talk about the dress in a second, but this shirt I got from a consignment store when we were up in Brisbane. It still wasn't a super cheap item for me to purchase, but when I put it on, I loved the color and I loved the fit. It's just the perfect kind of warmer weather layer. I love it. And then this hat I found on Depop, and you'll know I have been trying to wear my hats more, and this might be my favorite. Anyway, we need to talk about the dress because it is of course the star of the show. And here it is. This dress is originally from Variety Hour. Again, they're just one of my favorite local indie brands for like really pretty, nice kind of clothing. And this dress somebody was selling for about a third, a quarter of the original cost on Facebook Marketplace. So another 3 secondhand items to add to our tally, but we've got even more, haven't we? Hello, Ollie. What are you doing? Excuse me, sorry. So I feel like I've been talking to you a lot about my like Depop Facebook Market finds. These pretty much all come from Savers or an op shop of some kind. Obviously, we've got my Air Force Ones back on just because I think they look cute with this. But these pants, when I tell you I squealed when I saw these on the rack at Savers, because I knew exactly what they were. They were a pair of pants that I had considered purchasing new much earlier in the year, but they were expensive. So to find them secondhand in my size at Savers, yes, thank you very much. I will take those. And I just love them. I think they're so fun. They're so cute. Now this top, again, one of my favorite finds this year is just like a cotton lightweight knit from Krezik. I found so many great lightweight knits in 2024. I think it was probably the thing that I was finding the easiest at op shops, which I was happy about because they're definitely the thing that I think I get the most use out of in Melbourne. So I found a bunch of them, but this pink, I think it might just be close enough to my perfect pink. I love it. And then another thing that I bought a couple of last year were little scarves, like little ones, just to kind of tie around my neck or tie around my bag as a bit of extra pop of color. And while these little scarves aren't something that I wear like every day, I do love having them. And when I do wear them, I always feel really fucking cute. So there we have it, 3 more secondhand items that I loved wearing this year. Okay, so it really is too hot to be wearing this right now, so we're going to cycle through these very quickly. First of all though, I do need to talk about these pants from Sook, which is a brand that I do not support, but if I find them secondhand, I'm more than happy to pick them up because I do really like their pants. And these were the pants that started it all. I found them at Mutual Muse. I tried them on and I just loved how they fit me. Even though I've never owned cream color pants before, so I didn't really know if like they'd fit into my wardrobe. Boy, did they fit into my wardrobe. And happily in the last 6 months, I found so many more Sook pants in my size secondhand in lots of different colors. Then this jacket, I actually found this at an op shop when we were on our way to Daylesford. Obviously, you know, I love to wear green. This light green has fit seamlessly into my wardrobe, and it's just one of those great kind of like slightly heavier than just like a throw-on shacket kind of thing, but not as heavy as like a proper winter jacket. So it's very versatile, especially in Melbourne. But now that I've spoken about that, I'm going to take it off because it is so hot in here. Also, because I want you to be able to see this incredible jumper that I found on Depop. I love the stripes. I love the fit. I love the pink. I love everything about it. I also managed to find this backpack, which is a Nomo backpack. My go-to most worn bag for the last like 6-7 years is a green Nomo backpack. I'm just obsessed with it. It's perfect in every way. So when I found a red leather version on eBay can be a bit of a hellhole, but when it goes right, it goes right. So I think between these and the jacket, these are honestly probably some of my most worn secondhand items from the year. So I did really need to show you, but it's so hot. I'm done. I'm going to go get changed. Let's go big and purple for our last fit. So we have some incredible finds, if I do say so myself, starting with these Barbie shoes. These were the Rolly X Barbie collab from 2023 that were so expensive when they first came out. But of course, I got them a year later on Depop for about 10% of the original retail price. They're some big, silly, pink, chunky sneakers, and I love them. Then this slightly more slinky purple skirt was definitely outside of my comfort zone, but I found it in an op shop when we were up in Queensland, and something about it I just fell in love. We've also got this Lilac Clothing the Gaps t-shirt that I found secondhand for a total bargain. Then we've got another one of those crossbody bags from Radical Yes that I like so much that I found on Depop. This one in black. But I think the star of the show here has to be this jacket. This incredible shiny jacket. I found this at Savers and Blair was with me when I tried it on and he was like, "What, really?" And I was like, yes, really. And it has been such a great lightweight jacket in my wardrobe. I mean, it's incredible. It's one of those ones that I can just dress up or dress down. I've gotten so much wear out of it. I love it. But I think by now you get the gist. 2024, the thrifting was immaculate. See what I mean? I had the best thrifting year in 2024. To be fair, like I said, I do think I went a lot over the top with how many secondhand purchases I made. But like I said, I learnt so much through that process that I can't bring myself to be mad at myself. And while I definitely want to kind of rein in how much I've been purchasing in 2025, in fact, I already have in the last few months of 2024, partly because I just don't really need a lot of new stuff, you know? I love my wardrobe right now. But also because I love my wardrobe so much, I feel like I can be very, very picky about anything that I do come across, which is just a really nice place to be in, you know? So I think the only other really important thing we have to talk about is Indyx. I started using Indyx back in May 2024, and I have logged my outfit every single day since. And I just love this app, and I love the whole process. Like, yes, it is a bit of a time commitment, kind of like setting it up and adding all of your items in. But once it's there, it's so useful and also just so fun. It is so fun to make your little outfits. It really helped me literally see, but also just have a better sense of what it is I actually own and what it is I'm actually wearing. Obviously, the other thing I started doing towards the end of 2024 was hiring a stylist through Indyx. And I mean, if you haven't seen those videos, I have a whole playlist for you up here. We have had so much fun with that whole process, and it's not stopping anytime soon, I promise you that. On Indyx, you can literally hire somebody to help you style outfits using the clothes that you already have. Obviously, it's not the cheapest thing in the world. I understand that it's not accessible to everybody, but it is accessible to me, and I have found it so useful and so worth the money. I think hiring Ray as my stylist not only gave me some really great outfit ideas, many of which I have continued to wear, she got me wearing, but also more importantly, I think seeing some of my clothing and my wardrobe in general in new ways, which just opens up the possibility. It just kind of really helped me truly see that I have so many options in the wardrobe that I already have of about 200 items. The options are literally endless. And I'm really glad that I hired Ray around the time that I did, which was kind of the period from like the end of winter into summer, because I have noticed in myself that particularly as the seasons are changing, I often get a bit like of an itch for new stuff. I think that's partly because, you know, my clothes for the coming season have been locked away, and so I kind of have forgotten what I have. And so then I start to panic that I don't have anything. All of this is totally in my head, right? But I think having Ray providing me with new outfits every week was definitely helping me with that itchy feeling in a couple of ways. One, I mean, she was literally pulling out items from my wardrobe for the coming season and reminding me of how great they are and all of the outfits I have to wear. Basically, she got me excited for summer when I would usually be a little bit apprehensive, at least when it came to what I was going to wear. But secondly, having her show me new outfits that I'd literally never thought of kind of brought in a little bit of that novelty that I think I would normally look for by purchasing a new item. And so I think that's why I'm going to be continuing with Ray for at least the foreseeable future, because not only do I find it so useful in helping me put new outfits together and kind of finding and exploring new elements of my own style, I have also found myself, since I started using this service, wanting new clothes less and less. Now, I'm not a minimalist by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think I'm, at least any time in my near future, I don't see myself being somebody who never buys new stuff. And when I say new, I mean thrifting and secondhand as well. Like, thrifting is fun for me. Like, that's a hobby in and of itself. And I love clothes, and I love how good clothes that I enjoy wearing make me feel. Which, tying this all together, is one of the reasons I did want to commit to the 5 new items in 2025, rather than just having a vague notion of I'm going to purchase fewer new items this year. Because even though I feel like I'm in a really good place with my wardrobe and my purchasing at the moment, I feel like I am still a little bit scared of that inner gremlin that I have. That gremlin who was sitting on the couch scrolling through a sale by a brand that I don't want to support and adding shit to cart. That gremlin that tried to convince me that it doesn't really count if it's on sale. I do feel like the last 6 months has given me a little bit of space between me and that gremlin, but I don't yet feel like I have full control over that gremlin. You know, maybe on my good days I do, but I mean, we all have bad days, and gremlins love a bad day. And so I really want to take 2025 to cement some really good behaviors and habits around my closet and what I do and don't bring in to my wardrobe, and how I choose to spend my time and my money when it comes to shopping. I know a few of you asked to see my Indyx Wrapped, and so here we go. This is basically Spotify Wrapped, but for your closet. So the first big stat is that I wore 85% of my wardrobe in 2024, which, considering I only started logging my outfits in mid-May, which basically means that I missed out on the first 4.5 months of the year, I'm really happy with. And obviously there's also some items that have been brought into my wardrobe that are a bit newer that haven't been worn yet either. I'll be shooting for as close to 100% in 2025 as I can get, but at least for now, for my first year, and not even a full year, I'm pretty happy with that. My top 5 items, I could 100% have told you these in this order. My everyday favorite green backpack, my purple kind of mid-weight, most commonly worn jacket in winter, my rolly sneakers that I have worn so much over the last 5 or 6 years that I've had them that they're literally falling apart. Number 4 is probably the one I'm most happy about, my Sook workwear pants. Sook, by the way, is the brand that I was talking about before that I do not support, so please don't see this as some kind of like endorsement to go shop with them. I got these pants secondhand and I do love their pants, but I promise you, if you're in Australia and you look around for a bit on Facebook Marketplace, Depop, even Savers, I found 3 pairs of Sook pants in my Savers last week. You can find them secondhand. Please don't shop with Sook. But these pants, these cream colored pants that I was thinking were a bit outside of my comfort zone, my most worn kind of just like general clothing item of the year. Amazing. And then of course my cute little nice red bag that I've had for like 8 years. Wonderful. So 4 of these have basically been staples for like the last 5 years. And then we've got a new pair of pants that has obviously very quickly become a staple. Then this stat is honestly just mind blowing. My closet has 78,939 possible outfit combinations. What? I mean, obviously, I'm sure you can make the argument that like not everything would look good together, but like that is just mind-boggling, isn't it? Like I've said, I've got about 200 items in my closet between like shoes and everything. And like 200 is quite a lot, yes, but 78,000 outfits, of which I have worn 0.272%. Again, that just brings us back to how much opportunity there is in my wardrobe that I haven't even considered yet. Now, this next stat is not actually accurate. It's you added 119 items to your closet this year. The reason it's not accurate is because I started using the app this year. And so there were some items, because you put in the date when you bought something, there were some items that I like kind of guesstimated when I bought them. But honestly, there were a lot of items that I just like couldn't remember and I couldn't be bothered trying to figure it out. So for a lot of them, I just put the date that I logged them as the date that they were purchased, which obviously is not accurate. So this number is a lot higher than it was in reality. I don't know what the actual number is, but it is something that I'm going to put the accurate date in for everything that I purchase in 2025. So hopefully this time next year, we will have an accurate number. And I'm really, really interested to see what it's going to be. And then a little bit more celebration of these amazing pants. These pants I got for, I think, $33. They were kind of half price at a consignment store. Mutual Muse, of course. So I paid $33 for these pants. And at the moment already, they are $1.14 cost per wear, which is pretty solid considering I've only had them for like 4 or 5 months. So that's it. That is my Indyx Wrapped and my wardrobe wrapped in general. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for being here. Please feel free to ask me any other questions in the comments below. I'll do my best to get back to you. As always, a big thank you to my lovely patrons over on Patreon, and especially big thank you to Olivia, Lynette Brown, and Marie. And with all that said, I will chat with you in the comments and I will see you next week. Until then, so much love. Bye.